quality alerts from Minneapolis all the way east to New York City, all the way down to the Carolinas tonight, in fact. Toxic smoke from the Canadian wildfires now threatening the health of some 80 million Americans. This image right here, the New York City skyline, this was earlier today, obscured by the haze. And we're told that haze could be even worse come tomorrow. Here's ABC's Trevor Ault tonight.
Tonight, wildfire smoke seeping across the border from Canada, threatening the health of 80 million Americans.
To the haze, that's coming downstream. The thickest haze and smoke is actually during the evening hours, so the air quality is only going down.
More than 400 active wildfires are burning across Canada, half of them still out of control. The giant plumes of smoke rendering New York City's skyline practically invisible. Further north in Syracuse and Rochester, New York, the air quality is even worse.
It smelled like, our neighbors might be having a campfire, and it's just sort of an eerie feeling.
Medical professionals warning the poor air quality is already impacting people.
The immediate health risks are worsening of asthma and worsening of allergy symptoms. It can happen immediately in exposure to this type of air quality.
Can you recall a situation like this in the Northeast or in this area?
This is actually probably the worst I've seen the numbers.
The haze stretching all the way to the Midwest in Ohio and south to the Carolinas. In some areas, it's forecast to be even worse tomorrow.
And David, experts say this air quality is most dangerous for pregnant, elderly, or very young people. They do recommend staying indoors if you're vulnerable, and conditions are getting even worse. David, in just the last hour, we've watched Lower Manhattan and One World Trade Center disappear completely into the smoke. David?
Yeah, it's really something. We can smell it coming in through the system right here in the studio, and we wondered if it was the wildfires, and sure enough, with that picture, that's definitely what it is. Trevor, thank you, and again, we'll be watching this over the next couple of days. Thanks.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nerd Chronicles. This your host, Proud Lane, certified beta male simp mangina. Whatever it is, no game. The sociocultural nerd Chris and Paul is there in the building once again. Now that I gave y'all some time to really think about the big question when it comes to the air quality index, or the AQI for short. And for those of you who don't know what the air quality index is, let me try to look it up on my computer while I try and go up in there. The air quality index is basically a scale of particles that's actually measured to see whether or not the environment is actually good for you to breathe outside. So it's basically used for reporting daily air quality, where it tells you how clean or polluted your air is and what health effects actually come by beside it. So how the AQI basically works, they actually measure the AQI articles by measuring all of the miniature particles that come literally through your air. So for instance, we have like a gentleman that actually has a chart that has already been posted that has shown this. So they have the number of particles that's there. They usually compute the AQI by the PM 2.5 concentration, which is basically the fine particulate matter. Basically, that's what they call it. And they measure that based on those breaking points on how much can actually dictate whether or not the air quality is good or extremely dangerous. So for instance, you have this chart that's going by from 0 to 50 basically being moderate, 100 to 150 basically being like extremely dangerous, 50 1 to 100 it's basically decent except for those that have like sensitive conditions. But 100 150 you can have like some asthmatic conditions, COPD, lung cancer, any other respiratory disease that can come forth if you come by within the 150 down to 300 range, however it may be. Now when you get the hazards, when you get like the nuclear level, like 300 and higher, it can be extremely dangerous for any person to literally breathe. So that's what's basically what the air quality index is about. So again, hopefully y'all took a moment to actually think about that question while watching the fireworks to really calm your nerves, because I know y'all are very happy enough to actually enjoy the festivities that actually went down last Tuesday around the time of this recording. I believe today this recording is July 9th. So as we all know, the environment has mainly gone berserk around the eastern seaboard, mainly around the northeast over the past few months, so much so the outdoors has been unbearable. When in certain cases, we first had issue of like very, very nasty, very uninhabitable air conditions. That in one case, within one day, the AQI index was like around the 300s. It was literally that bad, real bad. Outdoor events were canceled, baseball games were canceled. Unfortunately, and some folks who had wear masks that were literally reminiscent of the COVID pandemic, which have a lot of folks that are literally living out their Mad Max fantasies. Literally right about now, where they have the Bane mask literally going off and literally going berserk. Now, the big question at hand is, can the AQI be thoroughly modeled? And the answer is absolutely. Now, theoretically, in order for you to model the air quality index and based on like the particles and get everything computed day by day, regressive modeling would be the best way to go when you analyze the history of the AQI within a region, or if you analyze the history of AQI within a country with some data visualization that's basically on the side, and you can actually give like a good idea of where it may head up. But because the weather is like literally so unpredictable, you have no idea on where that stuff can come. Because again, how the AQI has gone so bad literally as recent is because of all the Canadian wildfires that have been pesting up ablaze, and you don't know which one is going to start up and you don't know which one is going to furnace, which is why trying to predict weather is literally so hard to time, which leaves us with the only method to literally model a notch or like a method within that nature, basically air particles of that nature. And it would have to be literally forecasting or time series forecasting, where you would have to literally model the AQI in terms of within a day, in terms of hours and minutes, and not just within days or weeks, because we need to see where the damage is done and how severe the air quality index is within a region, how long it's supposed to actually stay that way for, and where it's supposed to go. So forecasting would literally be the best way to handle a model like this, especially if you have if you wanted to see like an MLOps event or MLOps course. You see like a lot of companies mainly deal with forecasting when it comes with weather, including the AQI, when you deal with banking, and when it comes with finances and money, when it comes with stocks, all that stuff. Forecasting is mainly measured, especially with time series forecasting, it can be mainly measured to actually get like the best quality predictors out there when it comes to the air quality index, so you can get like a very thorough, concise, precise prediction that could be very practical really toward the general public, or literally told folks to actually read the weather like a meteorologist or some stuff like that, so that they'll be able to warn the general public on what's really going on, as well as medical doctors that understand respiratory issues and all that other stuff. So it's very, very important on why forecasting is a literal huge deal, right? And in a separate video, I'll discuss like a very classic example. I have one. I have basically a data set that's literally there, but it's not fully cleaned up as of yet. It has some flaws and all that stuff that I will try to thoroughly go over. But it has like a bunch of missing variables, it has a bunch of missing values that's definitely to get like a thorough prediction. And that's why it doesn't make any sense to really try to post that up there until everything is literally thoroughly done. Because one slip up when it comes to that, you know, the whole model when it comes to where it could be mainly screwed and could literally mess up a person's literally quality of life within the whole society, within the millions of people that reside in a particular region at large. So I will close out with this. As y'all continue to watch the fireworks that literally go on live, we see up on those little viewpoints that you have up in there, right across the river. Remember this. Global warming is very much real. The weather getting warmer when it comes to summer, and the colder days during the winter are actually going to get very, very colder each and every day. Ice caps are melting literally all around the world. A lot of smog has been produced literally every single day during the night. All these chemicals being released up in the air unbeknownst to folks in Oz while they are sleeping, was it's triggered a huge global warming effect, literally on a global scale worldwide. And unfortunately, it's not going to go away anytime soon. And as long as this stuff keeps happening, expect the weather to get much weirder and weirder year by year by year, which means there could be a strong possibility that you could see much more wildfires, not just in Southern California and like the areas of California towards the west coast of the United States, but also deal with much more wildfires all across Canada that could literally make someone's breathing a huge nightmare within the days to come, and that could be much more commonplace literally down the line, which is a sin and a shame. Happy fireworks, everyone!
It's been hard to say, not a better but I swear, that I've been thinking about
No,